Hey everyone, how's it going? Octopus here and welcome back to evercrisis. It is freaking cold outside. It's like negative 20, 25. It is so bad. I'm going to be doing the very hard dungeon on my no overboost account, aka whatever the game gives me, I use. Whatever's gotcha, I don't double up on. And it's going to be pretty straightforward video showing you guys a strategy on my team, the boss order, and what I can do to improve this. And then later on, I'll be doing another run and getting S+, but I wanted to get these out early because I figured since last month I missed those because of corrupted file data and all that. I don't want that happening again. So we're going to jump in, get this clear for you guys, and get you guys all those rewards. All right, so jumping in, starting with my party members. Barrett's going to be my healer, Tifa's my DPS for physical, and Aerith is my magical DPS. We're bringing in an ice setup. That's my priority when it comes to this no overboost account because that's the costumes I currently have with me. We're going to be bringing 5,991 HP for Tifa with a total physical attack of 2,514. Barrett is my healer. He's rocking about 5,900 HP as well with heals of 1,730, and he's using that Cura, which his weapon allows it to be AoE. Kiraga, or just a AoE cure. And then we got Aerith as my other DPS, and I'm just over here adjusting it because this is a pre-recording. I'm just adjusting her setup to get her about 5,900 HP because I already ran this and I had the issue where I was dying, so I lowered my damage a little bit and I gave myself more HP. So Aerith now has 5,973 with 2,519 magic attack. Now, for the actual setup itself, you guys can see over here, we're going to be bringing in Ifrit as a summon, and the only reason I bring in Ifrit is because everything else on Barrett is not leveled up properly. His limit breaks are level 1, so we're just bringing in Ifrit. Even though he's not going to be doing big damage, I can use that to animation cancel the enemy. So when they're about to cast something, you push your limit break and it stops them, and then they have to recast it, which gives you more time to charge your ATB for better healing. We're going to be bringing Tifa's limit break, and then we gave Aerith the Shiva ability, even though Tifa would do better. Again, I don't have any other summons leveled up, like Ramuh's still the single target Ramuh. So I gave Aerith Shiva, and I gave Tifa her limit break because it comes up so quickly, and it is useful. Now, for actual materia setup, there's nothing special. This is a pretty straightforward one. There isn't a poison enemy. It's just go in there and do your thing. You could bring protection for defense up, lower the enemy's attack if you're having issues, but I went with pure DPS and that's it. So you guys can see everything else is pretty straightforward here. That's all the sigil breaking I brought in, triangle X, and same thing, triangle X. And Aerith, because I'm not overboosting this account, her main weapon isn't strong enough by itself, so I brought in a materia of Blizzard. So we do have Blizzard, which is going to be most of our DPS. Besides that, everything else is straightforward. Triangle X sigil, bringing in 2 DPS and our healer, who is going to lower physical defense. So let's jump in and let's talk about the fight itself. Now, the first fight is against Reno. He is pretty tough. He's probably going to be the worst part for me when I first walk into this account. For my other account, I kind of just went here and I steamrolled him, right? But the whole thing here is that we can lower his defense, so we are going to. We're going to control our healer the entire time, and my goal here is as soon as Pyramid is up, you want to bring that Triangle and X sigil for this phase, and that's why everyone has Triangle and X, because you don't know who's going to get hit by Pyramid. So that way you're able to get out of this, and then you skip one of the hardest parts. As you can see, I'm already taking 6%. This is a pre-recording if you haven't told her, if you couldn't tell already. It's for my Twitch live stream. This was my second attempt, because my first attempt, I was like, oh, I can do this. And I did a really bad boss order. But the whole thing here is bring that defense down as much as I can. Aerith's main weapon brought down magic, and Barrett brought down physical for Tifa. Now Tifa's going to be spamming her main gloves, the Christmas gloves. That's her main skill. She's going to be doing most of the damage there. And Aerith, after she puts the magic defense down, she will be spamming Blizzard. So as long as you're switching between attack and defense stance, you should be good. Using your limit break, see who's about to cast something. You cancel that animation, reapply those buffs, and now you're going to see right above his head, he has to recast whatever he was. So now he's kind of frozen doing nothing. There we go, electrical charge. So you kind of stop him from doing things if you save your limit breaks, and that's why it's really good to have Tifa on the team, just for that animation canceling and quick summons. Now I couldn't kill him fast enough for Flashfoot, which is a physical DPS. So we did take a big chunk there, 38% loss. So I'm going to have to use a lot of supplements once I'm out of this. And the hard part about this dungeon is that there's no tent. There's no big supplements, 40%. There's not a lot of healing items. And that's what this account usually relies on when it comes to these dungeons. As long as I have those tents, those elixirs, I can kind of bounce around and not really worry about how much damage I take. Where now I'm kind of worrying. So if I do this, it's bringing more DPS or bringing a way to like shield myself. Because yeah, we got 61,000 and that's what we're aiming for. 61 to 65 depending on how strong you are. Right? So every boss I do should be 61. Now, here's where I made my first mistake. I ended up picking Ice Potency 5% because my last run I was a little like, oh, I took that 20/20 and I ended up dying really fast. It was just my route was really bad. So I ended up changing my route and made it easier. So I should have took the 10%, but I didn't. And that extra 5% you're going to see is going to kick in a lot where I could have killed the boss and then I didn't. I took a big hit. Then I took less of a score. I used more items. So in this run, I do take the safe route and I take the 5%. If you are strong enough, just go for the 10 or even 15%. On my main account, I went 15% and I pretty much killed anything before it even did its big ultimate move. So keep that in mind. If you do want to play it safe, you can, but DPS is usually the way to go, especially when you're only losing like 20%. So I'm already using supplements. I'm going to be using that every single time there's like a 20% because you might as well. If you're close enough, so at 21, just heal it up and you're good to go. There's going to be trash mobs here. They're very quick. We're going to grab our items of summon charge. And as soon as you open these doors, you get a couple of trash mobs. Now, I could stay here and level up my limit breaks, but my limit breaks are pretty high already, and Barret's not going to make a difference, so I'm not going to spend too much time here so I don't lose a lot of DPS. So we're just going to go regular. These guys aren't tough, right? I didn't stick around and try to level it up. Now, there's two choices here. Choice number 1 is the bird. Choice number 2 is the dragon. I recommend the dragon. I do use supplements to get my HP back up because there's no point taking a chance with this one, especially because that's a little bit harder for me to struggle with. So I'm going to fast forward here. And we're going to go into the dragon fight. Because the bird is actually very easy. At least it was for both my accounts. So I ended up going bird last and he died pretty quickly. Even without summons and just pure damage. Where the dragon will cause you issues later on. So we are going to start this off with just going off. I'm going to try to lure. And I could have used Barret to actually raise my Aerith's magic attack. Because I have that healing weapon and I didn't. So I could have done a little bit better here as well, so that Shiva would have been a lot more powerful. But we ended up using one, I believe. No, we didn't use any. We didn't use any Blizzard cocktails. You can just see that we used the supplements to get our HP back up. So very straightforward fight. Start off with the summons, limit break of Tifa, and now we're spamming triangle to get through the hunt. So that way we don't take a lot of damage out of this. So the more ATB you save right before that, the better. And then from here, it's pretty straightforward. You can only lower the enemy's magic defense. So raising Aerith's magic attack and lowering that is doing most of the DPS here. So even though she's just casting blizzards, you can see 17k blizzards are coming through. Very powerful just from 3-star materia. So we ended up being the dragon pretty nicely. I was pretty happy. I don't know if you guys can see the, the joy behind me. This guy is pretty happy bee. So total of 61,000 on average. And if you end up going this route too, I think you end up getting some pretty good buffs. I think the next one is going to be like a physical or magical choice. I always went physical. I didn't take this one or the other. This is the problem with a team of both magic user and physical user. If I brought in 2 physical or 2 magical, I could have easily just picked one or the other, and I would have been taking these. So I took that 5% ice potency in the beginning. I had to only take the 5% increase attack. So there's a big issue here. So if you can bring in 2 physical or 2 magical, do one or the other. Don't mix it like I did. But still ended up being a nice, pretty good run. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go face the queen next. That's that really annoying snake. And this is where we're going to use one cocktail. I believe... Oh, you know what? I don't even think I used a cocktail here either. I think I ended up saving the cocktail for the bird. Because the whole idea is that 1 cocktail for one of these 3 bosses, whichever one that gives you the most trouble. And then 2 for the scorpion, so we don't have to deal with those big lasers. So this is me contemplating, okay, should I do anything? And I didn't. As you can see, there's no buffs on any of my characters. So we're going to start off right away with Somersault to cancel that first animation, buying us a little bit of time, also applying defense down. And we save Ifrit here, and actually that's what saves me. Saving this Ifrit, you're going to see, is what allows me to get through this. So defense down, and we're just going to spam. I'm using Aerith's AoE spell, so it can kill the side ads. And thankfully none of these ads actually poison, so we switch back to Aerith, use Blizzaga A, which is an AoE, and that way my other two characters can keep DPSing in the middle. You can see Bear almost dies over there. I use Diamond Dust. We also could have just spammed Blizzards in hindsight and wait for Diamond Dust to come up. So instead of waiting for that 4 ATB, I could have just been single target DPSing more damage, and then the Diamond Dust would have killed it anyways. But here is where, okay, I'm not getting to the heal fast enough. So now we're going to use Somersault right there. So I didn't take any damage. Barrett's still alive. And we didn't use Ifrit with it for damage. We're using it to stop the damage happening to me. So again, we're waiting for the ATB to fill. We're canceling the animation again. Ifrit comes in clutch. And then I now have enough ATB to heal, which allows me to go in defense mode, take less damage, and survive that hit. So he doesn't switch targets. And doing that as well, you got to be careful, because switching to defense mode means you're not breaking as much sigils. So it's like, yeah, it helped, and no, it didn't help at the same time. But I'm just showing you guys what I ended up doing there to try to save Bear. Try to anyways. Even though he died, we're still going to be at a pretty good score here. And all your characters come back to life after the run's done at 1 HP. So you can just use items on them to bring them back. So that is the queen. She's super annoying. Really hate her. She's probably one of the hardest ones out of all of these besides the scorpion. So we lost about 5,000 score there. And I think the biggest issue is losing that 5,000 score there, plus a little bit here, and then all the items I used. So this one was pretty easy. I went for ice potency, so both Aerith and Tifa can be doing all the damage because they're both rocking the ice potency. You could also bring Thunder to this run, and Thunder would help you with 2 of the characters, I believe, or is it just a Scorpion? I think there's another one that takes Thunder damage. But anyways, the Scorpion's also weak to lightning. So here we use supplements to get everyone up. We are using 1 Blizzard Cocktail on Aerith. And that's because we're about to hit a couple of ads in this corner here. So we're going to hit ads, use 1 supplement, 1 cocktail. And we're just going to bring these guys to actually, oh yeah, kill the 2 on the right. Forget the blood taste, get these 2. They're going to buff themselves and they're going to do a ton of DPS. So I actually use my limit brick here, and I'm not quick enough. And this is where like a big chunk of my score again is an issue, because I have to use supplements to get my HP back up, which lowers my score. This guy goes off, and that's because Aerith ended up using an AoE spell. If Aerith didn't use an AoE spell and she just casted Blizzagas, it would have been better, but we took that big hit right there. So if I didn't take that hit, I didn't have to use any kind of supplements to kind of get me back up. But you can see back here, we're using supplements, which would have saved me about 9,000 score on the so yeah, a little bit of everything. So I even used potions. So I ended up using all my items, which was a big mistake. But cocktail on Aerith because of her limit break for Shiva. And then we go to the bird. And it's pretty straightforward. Right? All our HP's back up except for Aerith. She's at 17%. Barrett heals right away. And then we're just waiting for, I believe, Barrett to have his... Actually, you know what? I don't even think I ended up using limit break here. If I ended up using summon charge, I think I do, but I think I'm waiting for limit breaks. Let's see what happens. Yeah, we're doing so much damage here, but the quicker you're in and out, the better. But I could have saved it. You can see how fast we're killing it. And I could have got like the same exact kind of score and saving those 2 summon charges. But Tifa alone is doing like over 10k. And Blizzard is doing about 12k, 12k. And the only thing we're trying to escape here is this heat wave. So I guess using the summon was okay. But I'm just seeing like, oh yeah, see? There you go. Remember I told you that 5%? Look at that pinch. If I took that 10% at the beginning, I wouldn't have lost all that damage right there. So again, being able to kill my enemies quicker, which means I didn't have to use as much supplements at the end, even the ads and so on and so on. So just taking a ton of damage for nothing if I just ended up taking the exact 10% or 50% buff. So here we're going for that physical attack again, because Tifa has the better weapon. She actually has a pair of gloves that does good damage. Could have went either or, because even the 3-star Blizzard is good. But we're going to end up using Summon Charge. And I ended up using 2, which I should just use 1. So again, I don't have to use all these items. But if you do a run where you use all items, you're getting that S rank for sure. So we're going to go straight to the Scorpion. There's nothing else. Going to fast forward a little bit here. He is purple because my stats are a little lower than they should be for this dungeon. And he's probably the scariest thing here. At least I thought he was. So we're going to start off with just using Shiva right away. We had nothing else to use. Not going to take the chance of Blizzard because we're such low HP. I didn't want to wait to lower his defense. So we're going to heal with Barret, and everyone else is just going to DPS like mad. And we are, I believe, going to lose Aerith here. Which, again, she was the one with the lowest HP. 42% missing. But I don't even know if I can survive this, to tell you the truth. If I remember, it did like 12,000 damage, and I don't know if I switched to defense mode. But I'm going to try to pay attention here. Because there is no buff magic attack. It's a magic attack, so you'd have to bring magic attack down or magic defense up. But I'm in defense mode right now. And the laser goes off. Let me see how much damage it does. 12,365, so... Trying to kill this thing before that goes off would be lovely. So we end up losing one of the DPS, and then this comes down to Tifa. Which again, Tifa is very strong. She does have her gloves and her Arcanum costume. So she's rocking some very nice damage. You can see 15,000 and change every hit, which is really nice. As long as Barret brings that defense down, we're good. So that's 15k with the L defense down. Let's see what the defense down on there. 9,000 into 18,000. So with defense down times 2, that's how much damage. And here, because I'm only running 1 DPS, by the time... If you guys are at this point with 2 DPS, you shouldn't be here, but you should just spam your actual abilities. Don't do Triangle Sigil. If you're this low and you know you have enough DPS to outbeat this little bar up here, then just keep using your DPS. So I'm over here, I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm going to do this and cast Hellfire. See that little pinch? Barret's so weak right now. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Also, giving my healer Blizzard probably helped too, right? Where like right now my Barret doesn't have a Blizzard on him, and I thought like, oh, I'm gonna spend most of my time lowering defense and healing, and I wasn't. I could have casted some Blizzards. So again, 55k there, could have got 61,000. We didn't, and then we ended the entire thing of a score of S rank of 691, and I think you need 720 to get S plus. So lots of mistakes, lots of items used, but you can see with the no overboost account and the very bare minimum, I still got to push through and got that S rank. And the only thing I'm missing is 500 crisis coins. So even if I don't beat this, the 500 crisis coins won't make or break my account. I grabbed everything else that's important, including the blue crystals. So that's how I ended up full clearing this and all the mistakes I made along the way. Well, that's the entire run. Hopefully something here helped you guys out. If you have any other strategy, any other characters you use, leave them down below so anyone else in the community can kind of be like, oh, you know what? I have something you have. I can try that out instead. This is just my no overboost account. I'm very limited, so I use what I can. It's more about the knowledge of the enemies and how to play the game. And usually the boss route is what helps the most, right? So again, hopefully something helped you guys out. Thank you so much for watching. Keep on smiling, and I'll smell you later.